Okay, so before this video starts, I know what the title looks like, and I probably have to clear up some things before anything goes on, and you guys go crazy in the comments saying, OMG, this guy's so homophobic. Like, why can't he say that to me? And I got a whole community on my butt cheeks. I want to say real quick that I respect every single one of you guys, and these stories are purely for your entertainment, and for me, it's just a way to grope and basically cry that I've had so many embarrassing things happen in my life. And the number one question I get for every single comment, I swear, at this time and age is, are the stories real? And like I say every single time, yes, the stories are real. They're not pulled out of Reddit. They're not pulled out of any historical website, and there's no way in hell am I using your guys' stories yet. The reason I say yet is because, yes, one day I will run out of stories, and I will run out of, being awesomeness with my eggplant. But, at the end of the day, as long as you guys get entertained and I get to tell my story about my life and how crazy it's been, then from there on out, we can continue. But for today's story is purely mine, and before anyone says anything, no, I am not homophobic. I honestly love every community, and, being what you want to be is very important for this day and age. Guys, it's 2022, okay? At the end of the day, I really don't care. But just remember that I'm not trying to get canceled. I think that's like the main thing that every YouTuber is scared of nowadays, and honestly, me being super terrified of everything, yeah, this is one of the cases. But going on, like I always say, thank you guys for all the support on these videos as well. Seriously, you guys have been insane. Join the Discord server down below, because if you guys do, I'm not joking when I say this, I get to talk to you guys, hang out with you guys, and also, like I always say, join the Twitch streams down below. But other than me promoting myself and being ultimately awesome, we're gonna get straight into this story. So what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy story. So today's story, funny enough, starts back when I was in high school. So if you guys don't know, in my high school, we had an LGBTQ community. Now, honestly, I never made a big deal about it or anything like that. Obviously, I had some stories from back then, but this was like later on, like I want to say grade 11, so it was already like a well-known thing. I wasn't really foreign to it, and like I don't know, I kind of just moved on from it per se. And by move on, I don't mean like, oh, I was homophobic, but now I'm not. No, it was more based on like I didn't really like get in the way of their things, because I don't know, back then I wasn't that good at talking to the LGBTQ community, if that makes sense. Like I don't know how to put it, but let's just say I didn't want to mistakenly say anything offensive, because let's be real here, I don't have the well enough known knowledge to talk to the LGBTQ community. I don't know, it's a long story, and honestly I could get into it and talk about it all week, but let's be real here, let's just continue on with the story. So I remember one time, I was just walking down my high school hallway, and I was just chilling, having my own good time, and I remember there was like a group of friends that I went up to and talked to, and they were talking about how a bunch of people from the school is going to a club. And at first I had no idea what they were talking about, because obviously high schools can't go into a club unless you're of age. But apparently it was well known that this club was having this bouncer that was allowing high school students in. If you gave him an extra $20, apparently this bouncer would just let you go right in and have a good time. And me going to a club at the age of what, like 17, I'm not saying no to that. So me and my friends decided to go to a club and meet up with a bunch of girls and have a good time. So I remember all of us over Xbox later that day decided to say what we need and plan our time to make sure we have everything to go to this club. Obviously I wanted to go later at the night, because that's when the clubs are obviously bumping the most. And by nighttime for me, I mean like nighttime at like high school age is like what, 6 o'clock really? So at 6 o'clock, me and my friends, we got our stuff, we got our bags, and we ended up bringing an extra $20 to go inside this club to give to the bouncer. So that's what we did. We ended up going down to the club that was maybe like a 10-minute walk from my place, surprisingly. We stood in this lineup, and when we got up to the bouncer, I remember he looked at us asking for our IDs. We ended up showing our IDs with a $20 bill in front of it, and he ended up just like picking up the $20 and literally just let us walk through. It was honestly the craziest thing. Like it felt like it was something straight out of a movie. But then we all ended up going in. We got pat down, obviously, because the guy who was patting us down made sure we didn't bring any weapons or AK-47s or something. I don't know, apparently like people bring weird stuff to clubs. I think the weirdest thing I saw was some guy in the lineup brought like 3 condoms. Yeah, I don't know what he was planning to do in a club, but go him. And we went inside. When we went inside, there was a lot of women, and by women I mean a lot of women. A lot of them were of age, and a lot of them surprisingly were from our school. Surprising enough too, there's a lot of people from the LGBTQ community sitting at the LGBTQ tables apparently they had down at the club, which is interesting. Honestly, very rare to see. Usually I would think everyone would be like hanging out together having a good time, but I guess they have like their own separate section, which I mean fair enough. If they have a separate section in our school, I don't see why they don't in the club. I don't know, it's very weird. But then later on, I remember all of us were going to the dance floor, and we were all just hanging out having a good time. And when we were all on the dance floor having a good time, I remember shots were being handed out to people left and right, and me obviously being 17, of course I wanted to drink. Like hell, worst comes to worst, I just walked 10 minutes home being drunk or intoxicated. I don't know if I can still say drunk on YouTube, but hopefully I don't get demonetized. So I ended up drinking there, and me and my friends just started getting rowdy. We started going around, we started being crazy, we started started being ultimately the dumbest people in the party. It got to the point where a lot of my friends just ended up going out and making out with other chicks and having a good time. And me, I was still going hard and going partying hard. And then the craziest thing ended up happening. So I remember seeing a waitress walk up to me and she ended up handing me a shot. And at first I was like, oh, okay, like this is kind of cool. Like, how you doing? You know, just, you know, talking to her and stuff. And after that, she was like, oh, like the drink wasn't from me. It was from that person on the table over there. And I look over at the person and it ended up being a girl. Now, this purely in my mind was a girl, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now before anyone says anything, yes, I do know the title of the video, but hear me out when I say this. This wasn't no like James Charles lookalike girl thingy. Like this was purely a girl. I remember walking up to her and she even had the voice of a girl. Everything was a girl. Okay, and I remember me and her were chatting it up. We were having a good time. And then, you know, later on, we ended up, you know, kind of getting close. We ended up, you know, getting closer and closer. And I remember she walked me into a corner of the club and we started making out. We were making out, having a really good time. And honestly, we got really close to the point where she was like, do you want to like, I don't know, like maybe like go to the bathroom stall? Now, at first I was like, you know, sure, why not? Like, I don't mind. So we ended up walking to this like bathroom that was there. But the funny part was that we didn't enter the girls' bathroom. We didn't even enter the guys' bathroom. We went to this them bathroom. I didn't know what it was. I think it was like considered the all gender bathroom. Now, before anyone says anything, yes, I do have a story about me doing it in the all gender bathroom, but you know, that doesn't really lay the case for this storyline. This is a totally different story. And I remember when we went to the all gender bathroom, I remember seeing my friend right before we entered in there looking at me saying, no, don't go in there. And he put his hand across his neck as if, you know, he's like the symbol of like dead or something. And in my head, I'm thinking, wait, am I gonna die? Like clearly my friend was warning me of something, but I had no idea what, because I was about to, you know, do it with a hot chick. I was about to go literally do the devil's tango. And I thought the coast was clear. Like, I don't know what he was trying to symbolize here. But then I remember as we went to the bathroom, this girl ended up pushing me up against the wall with like super strength out of nowhere. And then she ended up getting close to me. We started making out and then she took off her pants. And when she took off her pants, ladies and gentlemen, she had an antenna. She had a powerful eggplant. And long story short, I was staring directly at oh my God. Honestly, I don't know how to explain it, guys. I really didn't. But when I did see that, guys, I'm not joking when I say this. I haven't panicked so quickly. Because if you guys don't know, I should probably clear this up. I am straight, okay? I am a straight male. That is it. I have an eggplant. I'm straight. I probably should make that clear. But the girl in front of me ended up having an eggplant as well. And honestly, it was just a whole lot of confusion. And I remember when she was coming close to me after she took off her pants, I straight up just kind of like leaned back and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And then she looks at me, she's like, what's wrong? And in my head, I was just thinking, how does her voice sound like that? How does she look like a woman, but yet she has an eggplant? Like my head was asking a million questions. And then she looked at me and she's like, oh, I probably should have mentioned. And I'm like, you think? Like, I don't know what to say. Honestly, me thinking about this story in the moment right now and just like remembering it was a lot in my head. But then she kind of like moved back as well. And then we started kind of having a conversation in the bathroom. It kind of went like, so like, I probably should have told you, like, I'm a transgender. I went from being a male to a female. And I looked at her and I'm like, oh, like, that's cool. Like, I didn't really say anything disrespectful at that moment. I was mostly just stuttering. Cause I'm gonna be honest, like, it's not like that I was like totally like against her or saying like anything offensive to her. I was just like, you know, basically apologizing on my part because I didn't know that she was that, like, you know, a transgender. And honestly, it was just really awkward in the moment. It was awkward for both of us. And honestly, like, I kind of just wanted to cut that tension. And I ended up just saying, hey, like, we can just go for a drink back at the bar and we can like hang out. So that's what we did. We ended up going back to the bar. We ended up just, you know, having a good drink and just talking as friends. Because like I said earlier, guys, I'm not like in any way like against the LGBTQ or transgenders or anything really with, you know, being what you want to be. Because we are in the world of 2022. And honestly, back then, yeah, maybe I was 17, but even back then I respected them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys so much for all love and support on these videos, like I always say. And on top of that, like I said earlier, join the Discord server, join the Twitch streams. And on top of that, like I always say, fall for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys.